You are listening to Information and Inspiration with Jen Julius, helping you take control of your own life by finding clarity, improving your communication, and building confidence to achieve your goals. For more information about me and my guest, you can go to jenjulius.com and check out the On the Radio tab. Today, I have Ashley Burnett, and I am so excited about this show. This woman is amazing. I'm really excited. She's a business and leadership coach for entrepreneurial women, and we're going to be talking about uninhibited thought leadership, which I really am excited to get some of her ideas about. So Ashley, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do, where you came from, and why you're so awesome.
Thanks for having me, Jen. I'm super excited to be here today. And hey, everybody. Well, first off, I just moved up here from San Francisco to Petaluma. Yeah, so I'm a new Sonoma County girl. Which is really fun. And originally, I grew up in a small town about the same size of Petaluma in Quincy, Illinois, in the Midwest. So I really got into this leadership work and entrepreneurial work because it was really in my blood. My mom was my dance teacher and ran a successful dance studio for years. And she and her mother was actually one of the first female optometrists in the Chicagoland area. And it was kind of wild, that story. It's a bit of a sad story, but it's pretty powerful. My grandmother lost her first husband 2 days before her first child was born and put her into labor. And it kills me every time. I don't know how she dealt with that, but that inspired her to go back to school as a single mother and become an optometrist and reopen his practice.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And so, my grandma Schweitzer, man, the Schweitz, she's like the fireball. Mm-hmm. So I definitely got a lot of this fire from her. Yeah. And I definitely got my entrepreneurial spirit from her. And, obviously learned it through my mom, but so that's kind of where I got that. And in terms of the work that I'm doing now, I danced my whole life growing up. I went to school for modern dance at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. And after that, actually during college, I was given a TA-ship at the university. So I was teaching college classes when I was an undergrad, which was, the first kind of hit with a leadership role, and then moved into running my own dance company afterwards. And that was kind of the first time I got into an entrepreneurial venture. Had to book my shows, get them filled, do fundraisers for those shows, and learn how to get people to come to dance, which was harder to do, right, than a lot of things. So that's where it started. And since then, I've run 3 additional businesses, a jewelry business that was kind of more of a side project, a successful massage therapy practice, and now this thriving coaching practice that I have. And, what I really do is help women who are, in roles of leadership and entrepreneurship to really move forward with their life's work in a bigger way, learn how to move through their fears on, various stage platforms. So whether that be on the radio or on, video or the actual stage, helping them to move through their fears, specifically with embodiment practices, since I have so much of that background as a dancer, to help them move through that so that they can really do their great work and be seen and heard in their life. And and it's not just for women, it's for men. So all you guys that are on the line too, I'm excited to share some of these practices with you as well.
And I know that you've got some awesome tools, and I really appreciate you being willing to share them with us.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a pretty exciting show. So do you want to share maybe a little bit about where you came up with the name Strong Body Love, and how did you get started with that component of the embodiment work?
Yeah, again, I was doing, so Strong Body Love is the name of my business, and I was really doing a lot of massage. Actually, I was in massage, giving a massage, and I was trying to figure out my business name, and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And then finally I was literally giving a massage, and all of a sudden it just like hit me like a ton, you know what I mean? Lightning bolt hit. Yep. And it was like, oh my God, I am all about, I'm all about love, and I'm all about the body. And I have this, kind of strength and power to me that, I really want to help people learn how to cultivate. So that's really where it came from. And again, I kind of first started out really helping people to move through their body image issues. Yeah. And to be completely honest, I'm still doing that now, because what I find interesting, especially around leadership and embodiment, that like people, especially women, but people in general, are constantly trying to shrink themselves, constantly trying to lose weight, right? Yeah. And when we're stepping into leadership and we're wanting to be seen and heard and all of that, it's kind of, the complete opposite of what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. We want to be seen, yet we're trying to lose weight all the time and shrink ourselves. I'm not saying let's not lose weight and let's not get fit and things like that. Sure. But it's just an interesting kind of paradox that's going on that, I find something to look at right now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that that's a big issue, unfortunately, still. And even, sometimes the things that we've learned in our lives, we then share with others. And sometimes the things that we're sharing with others, we're also still learning. And I think that this is an interwoven piece, especially with young women that are stepping into a spotlight. Right. It highlights some of these issues and concerns and insecurities.
Yeah, it's like, let's own our bodies, actually, and if we can just own where we are right now and let ourselves just appreciate the wisdom of the body, and not get all caught up in, oh man, I'm so fat, or my butt's so big, or my cellulite, or my arm flab, or what, whatever it is. It's like, no, let's actually remember the mission. What are we doing? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we standing up on stage? Or why are we like even starting a business in the first place? Or, whatever we're doing. Why are we managing a team? Why are we, why are we doing this? And not getting caught up in the how do I look piece. And I think that's really, really, really important right now as we all step forward into leadership.
I think it's really interesting, too, how much someone's appearance can shift by the way they hold their energetic space.
Totally.
Right?
Right. When you stop worrying about it, then you actually do release weight and you start glowing and you start having,
Yeah. And just, the difference between someone who's confident in their space being on stage versus someone who's really concerned about all of the appearance components is exceptionally different, right?
Totally.
And I have a feeling we're going to probably touch on that a little bit today too,
we
perhaps.
Will.
So I kind of want to nail a little bit, if you could describe more what you mean by either uninhibited thought leadership, uninhibited embodied leadership, both, whichever, but really kind of explaining this concept or phrase of uninhibited leadership.
Yeah, so that word uninhibited's it's kind of like my little catchword right now. And to me, why that word is so strong for me right now is that I just see so many people out there in their life, in their business, whatever, just not being who they are, And it's driving me crazy, right? I've noticed this in my personal industry as an entrepreneur and a coach. But in every single industry, I'm noticing it all the time. I'm seeing people dimming their light, playing small, censoring themselves, not really being true to who they are, and not letting people, see the root essence of them come through their work and come through just their life. So to me, uninhibited, it's really about unapologetically being yourself, right?
Beautiful.
And so anything that I'm doing with my work, I want to be an advocate for that. I want people to really relax into the fact that it's okay to be you, and it's okay to let your freak flag fly. You know what I mean?
Hold on, can we get that again? It's okay for what?
To let your freak flag fly.
That's gonna be our main. Everybody write that down. Let your freak flag fly.
You know?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and so that's it. It's just so that's the uninhibited piece. And when I talk about, uninhibited thought leadership, really, it's about, really what do you take a stand for? And so anybody, whether you're an entrepreneur or you are a mama, stay-at-home mama, or you are a CEO of a company or whatever you're kind of claiming who you are, it's all about really being known for your thoughts. Like, what do you take a real stand for in this life? And what do you want to be known for? Kind of what are your core thoughts, philosophies, ideas? And so these are some questions you can even start to ask yourself now. I mean, if you have a little note taker, your phone around you or something, you can literally ask, yourself, what are your thoughts, philosophies, and ideas? What do you take a stand for? What do you believe in? What do you want to be known for? And it doesn't have to be someone that's an entrepreneur. It's like, what do you want to be known for? Like, what's the legacy that you want to lead and leave? And what are your values? What are your
thing I talk about.
What are your values? Yep. What are your ethics? So yeah, exactly. We have a lot of synergy with that stuff. And these are some questions that you can start to ask yourself, because I think everyone's a leader. Right.
They can definitely be in different capacities for sure. And understanding that means you're also constantly a role model. Right. That's my big phrase. If you're a leader, you're a role model, and you better take it serious.
Right. And then around embodied leadership, because this is something I'm really talking about right now, I mean, let's get real here, right? Most people are turning into their computers. Even those of us who are who quit our day jobs and decided that we would start an online business, or,
we're nuts.
We're crazy. We're turning into our computers. So, I think this is the reality. When we disconnect from our body's wisdom and power, fear, doubt, playing small, all of that is going to rear its ugly head at us, right? So, it's really important to kind of get back into the body, and the body's a shortcut, right? The body is the shortcut, y'all. If you are struggling, anytime fear comes up, instead of trying to rationalize everything with your head or drinking that, fifth glass of wine or whatever. Right. I don't know about 5, but
that'd be intense.
That's a lot.
Maybe second.
I'm not going to say that I don't have wine every once in a while, but, instead of going there, what about having the body as a shortcut, using the body as a shortcut? And so, the work that I do with embodied leadership, it's really about, really recognizing the body's habitual stress patterns and really developing alternative response patterning that can tap into our creativity, into our big picture thinking, into our risk taking, and really kind of getting you to a place where you can step forward with, whatever you're doing in your life with confidence and transparency and authenticity. And so through some of the techniques that I teach my clients and, some of the things I'm going to share with you guys today, this is going to help you to actually repattern some of this, kind of stress patterning that's deeply rooted in your body, and help you to learn how to move through that fear and kind of own your power, So
what a huge skill too.
Yeah.
And I think I want to emphasize
and
too.
It's simple. These things are like very simple things that you can do throughout your day that are not complicated,
Thank you, because I think we've gone away from simplicity.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to go to a 90-minute yoga class,
to calm
vinyasa
down.
class to calm down. We can do some other things throughout the day.
1 minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Or less.
30 seconds.
Yeah. Done. Handled. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that I want to emphasize too, like some of the tips that Ashley's going to be providing are not just for women entrepreneurs or business owners or whatever. Like these are going to be some skills that you can really utilize in your life, no matter kind of what your position in a company is, or if you're a parent or not, or whatever. These are going to be skills that you can apply as a human. So I really want you to listen to what she has to offer too when it comes to some of these tools and tips. And well, I'm actually curious if you'd be ready to share one of the first ones, especially around fear. If you could maybe jump into that a little bit or talk more about how fear can be such a big limiting factor. Have you ever seen that?
Oh.
Fear limiting people?
Oh my God. Really? No, I've never noticed that. Yeah. So if you are not driving right now and you have a moment and you can actually close your eyes, go ahead and just, find a comfortable seat, sit on the front part of your chair. You can actually stand up. This would be better to do that way. And this is just a great practice to do in the morning. And it is a visualization practice, and it's something that you can kind of step into every morning to get your day started, to move through some of the fears that you have or some of your self-doubt. So go ahead and take a couple deep grounding breaths, and you're going to picture yourself as the most courageous powerhouse version of you. So picture yourself as the most courageous powerhouse version of yourself. And I want you to just take a moment to access that and ask yourself, where are you in that moment? As the kind of bravest, most courageous powerhouse version of you, where are you? And what are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? What are you tasting? So really get all the senses kind of going right now. And I want you to actually step into yourself. So Jen and I have done a little bit of this work where you can actually kind of picture yourself stepping into the fingers and toe slots of that bravest, most courageous powerhouse version of you. And just take a couple deep breaths. And I want you to actually notice how you're feeling as that most bravest powerhouse version of yourself. So really access that feeling state. And then when you have that, and this might take a little bit of time for you guys if this is new to you. It's okay. You can play around with this. But you can actually turn up the dial on those feelings. Turn up the dial really big, like 10 times, on the feelings that you're feeling as that most courageous, powerful version of yourself. And just take one more deep breath into that state, in that space. And go ahead and let that go. Open your eyes and then actually shift your positioning. So if you can move over to the right or take a step aside and then look back at that bravest version and ask her what you have to learn from her or him. And you'll see maybe something that maybe something's coming up for you. So this is something that you can just do, a very short practice, takes like a minute to do in the morning every day before you walk out the door, right? You can have your cup of tea, access your bravest version of yourself, and then, go into your workday. But really, this is going to start shifting a lot of your fears, a lot of your consciousness stuff, and really move forward as a confident leader. Yeah. What came up for you, Jen? I'm curious.
Love it. That's why I was in here doing the thing. So what was interesting is that when I looked back, there was just one super clear word or concept that came through, and that was just solidity, just being super solid. And that's something that I've been really working on so much the last year, probably, just like being solid in my space regardless of the turmoil around me. Right.
And
I can tap into one of my strongest, most powerful spaces, because I'm really honored. I teach a class every month that allows me to be in that space, so I can tap into it quick. But to still be able to see the difference perhaps in how I am on a daily basis versus in that 3 hours or 2 hours a month, and how if I can embrace and harness into more of that energy, being in that solid, grounded space more often, more consistently, it could probably help shift even some more great things for me in my business and my life.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. Solidness is a big thing for me. Being super solid.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is, again, it's just like a super kind of quick access thing that you can do if you are someone who like leads teams, or if you're someone who does get up on stage or does speaking or something like that. Yeah, you know, I mean, the number one fear in the world apparently is public speaking, right? It's more than death. Yeah, more than death, and I think the second or third is snakes. So it's like so it's like, you know, public speaking, death, snakes. Yeah. And so, you know, this is something that you can do before you get up on stage, or before you go and, you know, go into work, or if you're going into a meeting that you know is going to be a little stressful. This could be something that you could do before that. But I really love it. You know, I give my clients this to do in the morning to like kind of start their day.
I think it's also supportive because one of the things I teach about is around communication, and how the way you present something energetically will be the biggest factor potentially in how someone receives it. Yeah. On that level of communication as well. So if you are trying to make a point or set a boundary, but you're like, well, I mean, people aren't going to take you serious. Exactly. But if you can be in that power stance of like, hey, check it out. Like, sorry, bud, this is where I'm at. And
from a place of compassion, right? But there has to be you as this solid, powerhouse, kind of courageous person that's like very clear in her boundaries, but, you know, that has compassion.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Strong body love.
Strong body love. Tell me a little bit about power posing. What's that all about, and how can it help us day to day? How can it help us before we go on stage? What is power posing in general?
Yeah, so there's this really awesome TED Talk that everyone should watch. Amy Cuddy is talking about power posing and how body language shapes, you know, really who you are, how body language affects how others see us, but how it also, you know, might change how we see ourselves. And she's a social psychologist, and she really talks about how power posing, or standing in these, you know, kind of postures of power, like these big postures, can really help us to feel confident even when we don't feel confident, right? So it's kind of like this fake it till you make it type of idea. And what's really happening is that it can actually affect the testosterone and cortisol levels in our brain, and it has the ability to affect our chances for success, right? So this is a really great tool to use before you go into a meeting that's like freaking you out, or an interview, or again on stage, or, you know, whatever it is that kind of gets the butterflies going in your system. This is a really great tool to use, and we can actually riff off of the last exercise that we just did. And so if you are somewhere where you can actually, again, we're rocking some embodiment work here, right? So this is a little bit different for some of you probably than you've been used to on the show, but I just encourage you to play along. And so you can kind of go ahead, close your eyes again, re-access that most courageous powerhouse version of you, and just take a moment and get into the body of that most courageous version of yourself. And now I actually want you to create a power pose. So my favorite power pose is creating a massive X with our entire body. So if you can go ahead and stand up, or if you're sitting, you can actually just like kick your feet out. And yeah, Jen and I are out here just like looking like freaks right now.
Freak flag fly.
Yeah, letting your freak flag fly. But seriously, take a moment, access that most courageous version of yourself. Deep breaths in and out, and then stretching your arms out and your legs out and creating this massive X with your body. And you can even lift your chest up, lift your head up, and turn up the dial on those feelings as you are creating that big power pose, X shape with your body. Take one more second to access that feeling and then release. And just literally in just 30 seconds, again, there should probably be a feeling that of a little more confidence in the body.
A little more pump.
A little more pump, a little more sass, ready to tackle whatever's coming your way. So yeah, again, really what's happening here is that standing in these poses of power can really affect our testosterone and cortisol levels. And so what it's doing, it's actually slashing out cortisol. And so, which is that fear enhancing hormone, right? We're slashing that out, kind of turning the dial up on testosterone and oxytocin in the body. And so this is going to allow for us to feel more confident. So even there's other postures you can do. Like there's the Superwoman posture. Isn't that what's her name?
I don't know.
You know, the one that people dress up at as Halloween. Superwoman?
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially with that little, like, the...
yeah, hands around the hips, da-da-da. Wonder Woman, that's what I'm trying to talk. Wonder Woman. Okay. That's it.
Super Wonder.
Yeah. Super Wonder, yeah. Hands around the hips. You can take that stance. If you're sitting, you can even, like, kick your legs up on the desk and, you know, stretch your arms back like you're kind of laying back in your chair. Again, it's all kind of like heart-opening postures, but these are the postures that are actually going to help you feel more confident. If you just do that for a minute before you go into a meeting and then you team it up with accessing that most courageous version of yourself, shoot, you're gonna go nail that interview, right? You're gonna go nail that interview, right? So
handled.
So that's kind of another really cool, fun tool to use as you move forward with anything in leadership.
We're going to be going down the street, just seeing everybody walking around doing like an X stance.
Right.
Wonder Woman all day.
Right. Yeah. Right? Exactly.
I do want to ask you to clarify just real quick again for people that this is really new information too. We mentioned 3 really powerful hormones in the body: testosterone, cortisol, and oxytocin. Can you give a really quick breakdown of those just so people understand how they affect us and why they're important?
Yeah. And I have another exercise that I'll share with you guys too. But basically what is happening when the body is in that fear state, right? When we get anxious, nervous, scared, we feel like we have criticism coming our way, or we're nervous about going out on stage or something like that, the body is flooded with cortisol, which is the hormone that slashes out creativity, big picture thinking, and risk-taking. So what happens is...
Let's just pause for a second. Do you guys hear that? Slashes out creativity, big picture thinking, and risk-taking.
We become frozen. We can't do anything. You guys have all experienced this.
The cold never bothered me anyway. Sorry. That's what I think of when
Oh my God.
I know. Can you tell I'm around children too much, right?
Okay. I love it.
Back on. You become frozen, but not like the movie.
I love it. So, but yeah, I mean, so it's really about learning how to, in some of these practices I'm sharing with you, that's what we're doing. We're repatterning the brain to actually get into a place of power rather than fear, right? So what we're doing is, and in the practice that I'm going to teach you in a minute, we're going to create a little cocktail. Yeah.
9 a.m. game time.
And we're going to keep rolling with the alcohol. No. We're going to create a little cocktail of testosterone and oxytocin. We're going to flood the brain with those 2 hormones. And testosterone is actually known for big picture thinking, risk taking, and creativity, right? All the things that cortisol slashes out and kind of doesn't allow you to access, testosterone is going to allow you to access it. But what we want to do is balance it out with oxytocin, which is the hormone that is responsible for compassion and love and inclusivity, right? So we want to create a nice little cocktail of these hormones, and that's what we're doing when we're power posing. That's also what we're going to do when when I share this next exercise with you.
I think people most frequently would hear oxytocin in relation to bonding too. It's the one that gets thrown around a lot with moms and babies. So if you're like, I feel like I've heard that, you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So and you certainly have heard of testosterone.
Yeah, right. So I just wanted to thank you for clarifying.
And these are all stress hormones, but what's happening is that they're all, when we combine them in certain ways, they're going to be much more effective to helping us release like fear and negative stress, right?
And yes, and what I want to kind of emphasize is the fact that we're talking about shifting this just from doing embodiment activities.
Yeah.
And
simple
a lot
little
of people
movements
don't understand and know that we actually have the ability to shift not only our way of thinking, how we're feeling, but the way our body is operating quickly. We don't have to just always take pills or do these big, huge things. We can actually make incredible shifts in our body pretty darn fast if we just know the tools, learn the skills, and embrace them.
Exactly.
So I really appreciate us nailing down those two, because I think that breaking it down, this isn't just, me and Ashley are a little bit hippy dippy, I'm not gonna lie, but this isn't just hippy dippy stuff. This is like legit, hardcore, real talk, working with your body, understanding how the hormones are being affected, real stuff that we can be embracing right now. So thank you for breaking that down for
Amen,
us.
sister.
That's right. Holla. Okay. So where are we moving on to? I'm just like, I'm all like power posed out and
I know,
all crazy.
Right. Well, we can do the next, the centering exercise,
cool.
which, so this is, again, something that you can do at the beginning of the day. This is one of my favorite things to do. And what I actually like to do, instead of doing this habitually, which is when, if a fear or a stressor or something like that is coming your way, this is something that you can do, of course, when that's happening to kind of dim the light on that stressor, right? And not take it so personally. But it's also something that we can do throughout the day, and we call that kind of like a ritualizing practice, but that's something where we can do it multiple times. So for myself, I do this every time before I get on the phone with a client, or I do that, right? So if I see 4 or 5 clients a day, I'm going to do this 4 or 5 times a day. Plus I do it in the morning. Plus I do it at night. So I do it throughout my day. I'm kind of ritualizing this thing, right?
Yeah.
And what it does is it really gets me centered in my body, gets me out of like my fear state, and it makes me really feel like I can do anything, right? So this is literally like, it can be like a 5-second thing or a 30-second thing, depending on how long you're accessing each piece for. I'm just going to basically give you 4 little steps, all right? So again, go and sit at the front of your chair, and or you can stand, and we're going to give this little cocktail that we're working with of the oxytocin and testosterone right now, flooding the body with that, slashing out the cortisol levels so that we don't have to deal with fear as much. So go ahead and uplift. The first step is uplift your spine to its upright position. And I think I did this with Jen the other day, so she's going to do it again. Uplift your spine to its upright posture. And you can even think about little champagne bubbles coming out of the top of your head and taking a deep breath in as you're doing that. So really elongate your spine, champagne bubbles at the top of your head, breathing in. And then breathing out anything that doesn't serve you, that's not working for you, out down the front of your body. So just settle, kind of relax. And then think of something that makes you smile, or someone that makes you smile. Just access that for a second. And you can smile. It's cool. And then you kind of want to just expand your vision out to include people in your life, right? We literally walk around with our head down, right? So if we're standing here thinking about including people and really bringing the people that we know we're meant to serve in our life into view. And then relax. So that's it. 4 little pieces. So we'll go through it one more time. Elongate your spine and champagne bubbles out the top of your head. Breathing in. Breathing out. Release anything that doesn't serve down the front of your body. Think of something that makes you smile. And then expanding your space out to include people rather than exclude people. And relax. So that's it. Basically, those 4 things are creating that little cocktail that we're talking about. And the standing upright position is really about, is really kind of flooding the body with testosterone, right? The little champagne bubble piece. And then the thinking of something that makes you smile, that's flooding the body with oxytocin. And literally you can do this in 5 to 10 seconds, and you'll notice a quick shift in the body. And this is something that you can do throughout your day to center yourself, ground yourself before you go into meetings or as a stressor is coming your way.
I love the concept of expanding to include people rather than exclude people too, in this concept that you talk about, you know, and understanding. And people that listen to my show know I talk about energy a lot. And so this is a big concept we're hitting on right now too, your energetic space, being able to tap into that, harness it, have some control over it, right? I even sometimes talk about expanding and contracting a little bit, like especially if we're going to a protective phase or we're really just needing to be super solid and don't want to expand our energy in a certain circumstance.
Right.
And being just conscientious of that and how it's possible and how it makes different impacts on how you're perceived and received.
Yeah. I think, you know, a lot of us walk around with like a little shell around us, right? So it's kind of like our little protective shell.
Yes.
And so the idea here is to like expand that shell out, right? So the shell, when you think about big leaders like Mandela, you know, Oprah, people that are influencing a lot of people, their shell is like really, really, really big, right? It's not super tight to their body. It's really, really expanded, big to include people. Yeah. And then the idea is that they get a lot of criticism, right? They will receive, the more that you are known for your work or whatever it is, you're going to be seen, you're going to get criticism, you're going to have judgments coming your way. What you can play around with is to actually let those criticisms land in the shell, in that space, right? And not in your body, right? But if the shell's too close to you, your criticism is going to land right into your body, and you're going to feel terrible, right? You're going to take it personally. It's not going to feel good. So you want to play with kind of expanding that shell out, letting any criticism or judgment land in that space, right? Between your body and the people that you're serving. And then we don't take it as seriously, and we can see, oh, is there something of value here if a criticism is coming your way? Like, let's say you're at work and someone's giving you a criticism on a job, right? And if I'm just letting it go into my body, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm a failure. I feel terrible. But if I can expand it out, then it lands in the space. I don't take it as personally.
Right. Totally.
Period. Right. So that's kind of something to be thinking about. It's a little, you know, it might be a concept that's harder to understand, but play with it, be open to it, and it's really been helping me a lot. And this was an exercise I got from Wendy Palmer recently, and I just love her work, and I've kind of adapted it to work for my stuff. But it's really, really powerful.
I love it. Yeah. I think that, and I like the idea of letting it land in that space rather than on you.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to embody the crap.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to embody it.
I think that it's also a big piece of simply understanding that you're not meant to vibe with everybody. And you don't need to vibe with everybody.
Exactly.
And the more I think, and I've noticed this, I'm curious if you have too, Ashley, the more I've kind of said, you know what? This is what I'm about. This is what I specialize in. These are my ideal clients. This is who I am as a woman. The more I stood in that space, the more the haters start to pop up, right? All that haterade gets thrown at you a little bit, right? Haterade. And
oh my.
I know. It's crazy. But I'm curious, like, do you see that pretty consistently with your clients too? Like, as they claim their space, they also have to almost deal with some of the not the repercussions. Maybe that is the word I'm looking for.
No, but let's get real, right? The more that we stand in our power, the more that we speak up for our messages, the more that we are seen as a thought leader.
Yeah.
The more that we're going to have people that don't jive with us, right? Mother Teresa, God bless her soul. You know, she was an amazing woman, you know, and she had haters.
Yep.
She had a lot of haters, right?
Yep.
Gandhi, you know, a lot of these big leaders, they had tons of haters. So the reality is you're not going to, you're just not going to jive with everybody. And you have to embrace that. And again, remember what it is that you really care about and what it is that you're, wanting to take a stand for. Again, coming back to that first question I had asked you guys earlier. What is it that's really true to you? And, be okay with talking about that.
I think that sparked me. I don't know if you saw that light bulb go off, but it makes me want to just really be clear, though, what Ashley and I are talking about is also, we're not saying that just like, oh, figure out what you stand for and then just like be totally abrasive and intense and exclusive about it all the time. No. What we're talking about is like, know what you're about, be confident and okay with that. Well, also, one of the big keys Ashley's mentioned is having compassion and understanding that people are different. Let your freak flag fly.
Exactly.
I love that so much. And being able to hold your space while still respecting other people's space, right? And their reality, because we're all in our own little worlds, our own little realities, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So being able to have your space, know what you're about, while still also respecting others, I think is the really, really magic key.
Yeah, and it also helps you to have exactly understanding and compassion for why someone might not actually jive with you because of what their upbringing is, or because you guys are just different. We're just different, right? So there's a level of understanding that happens when we can get into that space too.
Yeah, and we need people to be passionate about different things, right? We can't. If everybody was passionate about the same thing, we wouldn't have all the diversity in the world, right? We'd probably we'd all have radio shows like me, because this is like my favorite thing ever.
Yeah,
and we wouldn't have people that are building spacecrafts or cars or something. I could never do that. So we have to have these different passions, these different beliefs in some ways to stand for and to embrace in order to have kind of the beauty of our lives in our world right now.
And we don't all want to look and be like everyone else, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what really gets me, is that conformity is a big issue. It's a big thing, right? People are always 100%. Trying to conform, be like, the supermodel, look like the skinny mini. And again, this comes back to body image stuff too, where it's like, let's embrace the differences in our bodies. It's cool. You just weren't born with, I wasn't born as a size 2. It ain't never going to happen. I would look like a skeleton I don't think my skeleton would ever even be a size 2.
Thank you.
Because I'm big boned.
Yep. Heard that.
You know what I'm saying?
I know
it's just not happening. Skeleton's not going to be a size 2.
No. I love it. I have no idea where we were. I'm just thinking about how mine and your skeletons could be like standing next to each other, like still not a size 2, and we love it.
Oh my gosh, we should totally create something like that.
We probably could.
It.
Creeps. Okay. Well, back, deep breath. Where were we?
No, we're good. I think we finished that. I think we completed. Yeah.
I just can't get the visual out of my head. Okay. So with that said, and with this concept of understanding that people are going to be different, that we're not trying to all be alike, that respecting other people's space is also key, even when you've claimed your own, right? I wanted to kind of check in and see, do you want to maybe talk about adding more movement day to day? We've talked about some really specific embodiment practices. Are there some other tips or tools that have kind of just come up for you as you've been sharing?
Yeah, again, strong body love, and I'm a dancer, so I really got to advocate for the dance breaks, throughout the day. One of my little things that I've wanted to develop and haven't quite done yet is to do these little short 5-minute or less booty break sessions, right? Maybe we can even throw some music on here in a minute and we can just rock out a booty break session. I don't know. But seriously, though, we sit, it actually... The more that you sit, and the more that you sit without getting up, the less you're going to live. I mean, for real, like it takes time off of your life to be sitting more than an hour every day. I don't know what the statistics are there. I don't have that information, but I do know that I've heard like a TED talk on that, and it actually will shorten your life. You know, it's like when people don't floss or something, it like cuts your life out by 7 years or something. That's what they say. I don't know. You better stop flossing, everybody.
Right now.
I know, seriously, I wasn't flossing for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm going to floss now. But so same thing here, though. The more that we sit stationary, we are actually taking time off of our life. So years off of our life. So get your booty up off your chair. And if you can do this, ideally you're doing it like every half hour or something, where you're getting up. At the bare minimum, you're walking around. Even if you get up, walk around for, a minute or two, go, grab some water in the office or wherever you're at, and then sit back down. Now, if you want to go into the handicapped bathroom at your office, put on your earphones and then rock out your favorite song, right? Then you can rock out a booty break session in the office for 2 minutes.
Knows.
No one even knows.
They might know if they're in the bathroom and they hear you like jumping up and down.
Yeah, especially if you're getting up every 30 seconds or 30 minutes to go to the bathroom. Then they might be
suspicious.
Right, but you can get up, you can walk around, and then maybe once or twice a day you go to the handicapped bathroom and you rock out a booty break session. But seriously, again, what's happening is we are flooding the body with oxytocin when we start moving to music that makes us feel good, and we start moving our body and dancing and shimmying it out, moving and shaking. So it's something to, again, ritualize throughout the day. This is something that you can do and I work for myself at home, and I literally find myself why are you laughing?
Just because I'm thinking about me, like when I drive, I used to be a singer, so like,
right.
I was never super.
You're
into
still
dance,
a singer. Once a singer,
that's
always
right,
a singer.
That's right. So like, I could see like Ashley doing all these like booty breaks, but I could totally see myself divaing it out in the car, like hands, like just like getting crazy. Like that's one of my forms of my booty break. Is more so just like the diva status,
the dancing diva,
singing in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are just, again, all of these little practices are something that you can do that will lift and shift your mood immediately. You do not have to do crazy stuff throughout the day to try to move through your fear. You don't have to drink a bottle of wine. You don't have to go to a 90-minute yoga class, although I love yoga and it completely changes my life. But these are little things that you want to do throughout the day. It is not going to support you to sit on your butt for 8 hours a day plus on your computer, not get up, not do some of these practices that I've just shared with you today, and of course you're going to be completely stressed out.
Yep.
Of course you're going to be completely stressed out, right?
Body's
a shortcut.
Yeah. We're not embracing what, this beautiful vessel that we have too.
Right.
I like that concept of the body as a shortcut too, because so often our body is screaming signals and symptoms and messages to us that we're avoiding. When we have an ache or pain or feeling in our body, oftentimes that's a direct message. So I love that concept of the body as a shortcut.
Well, yes, the body is a shortcut, but the body is wise. The body is what you just said around, if you're having a craving or if something's coming up, listen to that. What is it trying to tell you? Yeah. And if it's craving alcohol, like we've been talking about all day, all the time. And I know y'all are in Sonoma County, right? So,
wine drinkers, it's true.
I mean, I love my wine, don't get me wrong, but if we're constantly reaching to that,
that's our primary coping skill or mechanism.
Exactly.
Now we have a concern.
So now you have another tool to use, right, throughout your day that can maybe help you to manage your energy and your stress levels. And it's your own body. It's something that goes everywhere with you. You don't have to reach for it. You don't have to buy it. It's your body. Mm-hmm. You got it, right? Mm-hmm. So these are practical little tools that you can do throughout your day that can help to slash out those stress levels and really get you into a place of empowerment.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So can you maybe do a quick recap perhaps of kind of what we covered, or maybe if you want to recap the primary tools that you offered, just so we can really kind of drive it home?
Yeah, totally. So the first thing that we did earlier was all about accessing that most courageous version of you. So really not thinking about, actually, I want you to get into that feeling state of the most bravest, courageous, powerhouse version of yourself. So you can spend about a minute accessing that, really get yourself slip yourself into the fingers and toe slots, really smell, taste, see where you are as that most courageous version. And then from there, I want you to power pose, right? We went into power posing. So from there, you can get into that big X, access the feeling state as that most courageous version of you as you're power posing, and that's going to totally slash cortisol levels. And again, you don't have to do this in the office when everyone's looking at you. You can go into the handicap bathroom.
Would.
Right, we would totally do it. We'd be like...
Everyone laughs at me when I teach because I've got my rocks everywhere and I'm carrying rocks around. Yeah, whatever.
Right, so we did that. And then we went into the centering exercise that we did, right? So champagne bubbles lifting, breathing down the front, thinking of something that makes us smile, expanding our little shell outward to include people. So those are the three main tools that I gave you guys. And then, of course, your booty break session that you can do at any time.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Have fun. So, okay. So I have two. Well, should I tell you what the last thing is? I didn't even warn you about this.
Oh,
really
what's going on now?
First, why don't you share actually a little bit about where people can find out more about you and more about the work that you do?
Yeah, so you guys can come on over to strongbodylove.com and learn more about the work that I do with business and leadership work. I am a coach, so I help women to really access that power and learn how to step forward on larger scale stages with confidence and really build their presence and build their businesses. I'm also not just working with people. I also do retreats in Sonoma County in my area that I'm working in. And I really am excited to have people experience taking time out for self-care. I'm a big self-care advocate as well. And so one of the things that I do is called Replenish. Jen's come to that before. So it's just kind of a really, the work that I do, it's really about, as we're moving forward onto bigger visibility platforms, we're not burning ourselves out like a candle. We really need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So self-care is something that I do throughout the day. But you guys can learn more about my work over at strongbodylove.com. I have a lot of videos. If you sign up for my newsletter, you can go and see I have a bunch of videos that come out doing more of these embodiment practices and talking about leadership, interviews, things like that. And really inspiring and motivational stuff for people as they move forward.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And the surprise question is, if you could shout out one thing to the world to really have people take home and hear and absorb into their little souls, what would that be?
That you're powerful beyond measure. Trust yourself, trust your body, trust the wisdom of your body. You don't have to look outward all the time for the answers. You can look within. You've got everything, all the knowledge that you need is within you already, right? I think so many people get caught up in compare and despair and looking at what everyone else is doing and getting tripped up in, man, I'm not enough, right? Well, you are enough and you're powerful beyond measure, and really owning that, right? Learning how to access that power through the body and just really claiming who you are, and that's what I'm an advocate for people to do that, and to do that with compassion. It's not about ego. It's about, you know what? I'm awesome, and so is she, and so is he, and so are all of we, all of us, right?
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nailed it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I think I'm hoping that everyone that is listening to the live show or the recording can really take some of these tools and let them serve you. And do make sure, if you want to find out more, Ashley,
StrongBodyLove.com.
Perfect. And thank you all for listening to Information and Inspiration with Jen Julius. For more information about me and to check out some of my previously recorded shows, you can go to jenjulius.com, or you can like me on Facebook at facebook.com/JenJuliusCoaching. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for wanting to shift yourself, shift your life, and help shift the world. We appreciate you. Take care.